Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com. I have a really pretty double easel card for you today. Where you look at it sideways, it's like that. And it's an easel within an easel. To make this card, I'm going to be using the Ornate style bundle. This is the stamp set, and these are the dies that coordinate with it. And I'm going to be using the medium size frame and also the Ornate Thanks stamp set. I'm going to be using the sentiment here, just the thanks, on the small easel. I'm also going to be using the Ornate Garden Specialty Designer Series paper. These are double-sided designs, and this is the reverse. So there's gold foiling in some of them, and the one we're going to be using is this pattern here, the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder for the inside of the card, Tuxedo Black Memento ink, Mint Macaron Terracotta Tile ink, as well as the Mint Macaron Stamping Blend combo, and the Dark Mango Melody and a blender pen, the flower faceted gems and the gilded gems from the Ornate suite. I need the faceted floral gems to weight down the smaller easel card so that it will stand up. Without it, it just pops up. I'm also going to be using the Ornate ribbon combo pack and using the terracotta tile one. Now I'm going to have all the measurements for the double easel card on my blog, and I'll share a link below the video. This is the large easel card base, and that measures 11 inches by 4 1/8 inches. That's 28 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. With the long side at the top, you score at 2 3/4 inches and at 5 1/2 inches. In metric, that's 7 centimeters and 14 centimeters. Fold that and burnish it. That will be your easel mechanism. Then you need a piece of mint macaron and also the design series paper. Both are cut at 4 1/8 by 5 1/2, and in metric that's 10.5 by 14 centimeters. So that will go, this will glue on top of that, and that will go, you only adhere half of it to the easel card. What I'm going to do is, rather than have pieces all around, I'm just going to glue this. I put glue on this portion, which is, if you turn your card in portrait mode, it's the lower half. So put glue on there. And then just close the card and line that up with the card, so it should only stick to the bottom half. Make sure that it's aligned from the underneath of the card so no pieces are jutting out, and that's your easel mechanism. Then you have a terracotta tile layer for the inside of the easel card, which goes in there, and this measures 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and in metric that's 9.8 centimeters by 13.3 centimeters. So we'll glue that as well. There's a piece that has to be embossed, and that layer goes on top of that, and this measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/8 inches. So that's 9.5 by 13 centimeters. Get my embossing folder. This is the Ornate Flower 3D embossing folder, and you need the basic platform and the blue embossing plate. So I'll go and do that off camera and I'll be back. So we'll adhere this layer to the inside of the large easel card. Then you need a scrap of terracotta tile so you can die cut this medium size ornate style frame. So I'll go and do that as well. So I've die cut my frame and I'll just glue that to my easel card. Make sure it's the right way up. Cut a little piece in Whisper White, and that's for stamping on to go in the middle, and that measures 2 1/8 by 3 1/2. In metric that's 5.4 centimeters by 8.9 centimeters. I'm going to be stamping this stamp in the corner in mint macaron. And one down here. This image in the middle there in tuxedo black memento ink. And on some scrap Whisper White I'm going to stamp a couple of more flowers. That's for this bit here and also an extra one down here. Unfortunately there isn't a stamping blend for the terracotta tile colours, so I'm just going to use a terracotta tile marker just for the centre of the flower here. I've picked up some ink with an acrylic block on my ink pad. It's harder to squeeze the lid on the new ink style ink pads, or newish style ink pads. They've been around for a year now. So now I'll do the dark mango melody on the flower centres. And the leaves in the dark mint macaron first, followed by the light. Next I'm going to fussy cut this. So I've gone ahead and fussy cut the other bit that I'll need for the small easel, and I've put some dimensionals on the back of this flower which I'll lay on top of here. Make sure it's facing the right way, and I'll glue that onto the front of my card on top of the frame so that I don't lose the piece. And we can embellish that afterwards. So in the meantime I'm going to set that aside safe, and we'll look at the small easel. We will tackle the smaller easel card. In principle it's just the same sort of construction except on a smaller scale. For the smaller easel, this measures 2 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and with the long side on top you score at 1 3/8, which is just before the 1 1/2 inch mark, and you score there, and then score at 2 3/4. And in metric that will be 3.5 centimeters and 7 centimeters. So same principle, both the designer series paper and the small easel front measures 2 1/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches, and the DSP is the same measurement, 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. Adhere the DSP to the front of the card. Burnish the score lines on the small easel. My apologies if you can hear background noise. My husband is on a conference call and his study is directly above my craft room, and he seems to be talking louder and louder. I don't think he realises how far his voice carries. So anyway, make sure nothing's showing on the bottom, and then we can glue the pieces for the inside of the easel card. So for this panel and this panel, here and here, the terracotta matte layers measure 1 1/4 by 2 inches, and you need 2 of these. In metric, that's 3.2 by 5 centimeters. 2 whisper white layers to go on top of that, and this measures 1 1/8 by 1 7/8. In metric, that's 2.9 by 4.8 centimeters. So these are the bits that you can write on the small easel if you want to write a message. The terracotta tile layer for the bottom of the inside of the small easel measures 2 inches by 2.5 inches. 2 inches by 2.5, and in metric that's 5 centimeters by 6.4 centimeters. The whisper white matte layer, this measures 1 7/8 by 2 3/8. And then you have your mint macaron stopper, and you need to put that on dimensionals and align that with the bottom of your whisper white layer so that the terracotta tile is still showing. And you want that in the designer series paper, and this measures 1/2 inch by 1 3/4 inches, and that goes on top here. Okay, now it's time to glue the small easel to the inside of the large easel. So you leave, say, about 1/8 inch from the bottom and equidistant from either side. So glue the whole of the base. And position it in the middle, doing it by eye. And with the Ornate frames, we need this stitched rectangle die, and we're just going to stamp in mint macaron the word thanks from the Ornate Thanks stamp set. So stamp it in mint macaron so that gives me room to die cut my thanks. So I'll do that off camera, and then obviously once I've cut that, I'll have to also move the die so it will cut the other end and give it the same stitched detail. Do you know what? I'm just going to do it by eye. Run some tape on the back. And then get my trimmer and pop that on the groove and cut. So I'm going to run some adhesive in the middle of the front of the small easel and position that in the middle. Then I can pop my flower and my leaf. add my faceted flower gems. And then I can do the bow on the top. So bunny ears, cross over and tuck it in, pull tight. Grab a glue dot, stick it on the back and attach it to the flower. Trim off the bow. And last of all, my gilded gems, a large one here and a smaller one here. So that's the card finished. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Pop back for more inspiration next time. You'll find the links for all the supplies I use below this video in the Show More Sell. Also provide a link to the blog post where I've listed all the measurements. Watching and stay safe. Bye.